Hi, friends.
Hi.
Welcome to Getting Your Real Estate Life Together with Tracy Hicks from All Things Real Estate. My guest today is
Maabi Munoz
from
Windermere Realty Trust
here in
Portland, Oregon.
Yes, this is our first podcast.
Yep.
We're amateurs in here. Maabi's never done a podcast.
Never. This is actually kind of fun.
I know, right?
It's been great.
Yeah. And she suggested too late that we should have had wine.
Yeah. Can we do like wine next time? I mean, let's pick a topic.
Yes.
And then
a wine topic?
A wine
or
topic.
Real estate and wine?
Real estate and wine. Let's do real estate and wine.
Oh, that's a good podcast.
Yep.
Dang it.
You'll talk about real estate. I'll talk about wine.
And I'll let somebody else take that podcast, wine and real estate. Maabi, you need a podcast. That is your podcast right there. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I do. I give you ideas, $1 million ideas, and all you have to do
is go with it.
Do it. All right.
And actually, nobody take that because that is so me. That's what I'm doing.
The podcast?
Yeah, I'll do the podcast. Real
Seriously.
estate and wine.
I just said
both the things I like to talk about.
We literally just organized it. We just went through the whole process. It'll be so easy for you. This is another thing that happens. I do all the work and then I give it to you guys. Like, here you go.
Run with it.
Have at it.
That's been half my career. Thank you,
Don't
Tracy.
spend the last 5 months trying to figure out which microphone to use for your podcast. Cause that's the thing.
Yeah. What the
podcast is going to be about. We're only doing the podcast once a week or once every other week. We're not quite sure yet. We'll try to do 2 episodes a month. That's kind of the plan. Our main goal of the podcast is to talk to you about marketing, to talk about any CRM system or systems in general that you're using, what's working, what's not. And then we hope to, give somebody else out there that's struggling maybe with something that you've struggled with already, or we want people to get something out of this. And not just 2 chicks talking about real estate. I'm sure there's a podcast for that too.
There's another podcast idea.
I'm pretty sure that one was taken because I was looking up podcasts and I was like,
okay,
who else is doing podcasts? So the first thing I want to know, Maabi, is what are you doing right now for your marketing?
It's more like what I'm not doing right now for my marketing. Actually, I have through Windermere, I have a monthly market update that goes out to my past clients and then anybody that I put into the system. Okay.
And what's in that newsletter?
It's a newsletter. It just basically tells them what's going on, like market news in their particular area. So it's done by zip code.
Okay. Okay. So is that all you're doing?
For now. Why are you calling me out?
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
By the way, Maabi and I have been friends for a really long time. So I guess I should have prefaced that. So if we give each other a hard time, it's just the way we are.
That's just how it is.
Well, I'm going to call you out because I think you're doing more than that. You're doing stuff on social media.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you doing on social media?
So on social media, I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook.
Who doesn't?
So I think that when I have a listing, I'll put that I'm doing a listing. Open houses. Anytime I host either an open house from my particular listing, or if it's like another colleague's, I'll do that. I'll post about where I'm going to be with something cute to say.
Right.
And then sold anytime my client's signing table. If I have a client at the signing table or once they've moved in, I have a big key that my moving with Maabi key.
Your custom, all
my
things
custom,
real estate.
All things real estate, moving with Maabi
testimonial
key.
Prop key.
It's actually really cute.
It is super cute.
So I'll have them, I'll have pictures of that and put that up. I really use Instagram, I think. Instagram's probably like one of my favorites because I feel like I can just, post a picture and, talk a little bit about it. And it's not just people that I'm friends with here locally. On Facebook, I think I only have like 250 friends. Don't judge me.
On Facebook or on your business?
On my Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
And then on Instagram, I couldn't tell you how many because I have so many. But I think Instagram, the nice thing I like about it is that it's just people from all over. So they're not the thing that I do. And one of the key things is to post your picture, your comment, and then the hashtags.
Yeah.
because I think through the hashtags, people can follow you or just follow that particular hashtag. And so if you use it consistently, then they're actually seeing, either, stuff in Portland or whatever I'm doing.
Totally. Is there certain hashtags that use the same hashtags every time?
I try to use the same ones. I recently I listened to a webinar, and I'm going to mess up her name.
Sorry.
In fact, I'm not going to do that because I hate when people mess up my name, so I'm not going to mess up her name. But
I
in
would.
any case, I know you would, not me.
Just tell me, I'll say it.
So, but in any case, one of the things that I learned was with our hashtags, because it's very common to say, realtor life. I'm going to use that one for example.
Yeah.
If realtor life has over 1 million, people that are following it, that are using it, you're not going to get noticed.
Yeah. It's going to get lost in
it's going to get lost. Exactly. And so that was something that I really didn't know. I didn't pay attention to how many people were actually, using that same hashtag. Okay. So that was a tidbit that I picked up from it. I was like, oh, so since then, and I haven't really brushed it up, but I've been going through and just picking hashtags that are real estate related, not real estate related, but can still go and have different categories that I can just put them in when I do, my postings on Instagram.
Okay. So when you are doing that, are you saving, you're copying and pasting the bundle?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's the next thing. Let me talk about that. So what I've done is I have an iPhone. So an iPhone Notes.
Boo. Just kidding.
Boo. You're the one.
Droid. Team Droid.
No. There is no such thing as Team Droid. Okay. Anyways.
Party one over here.
Right. Exactly. So I have basically formed the group. So I have like real estate hashtags and I have different groups. And the other thing is you have to have at least 23, I think is a good number for your hashtags.
Wait, are you saving them in your notes?
I'm saving them in my notes under real estate hashtags. Or I think I put them real estate hashtags or IG hashtags. And that way I knew how quickly I could find them. So what I do is I go in there anytime I post, I highlight it, cut and paste, and then I just put it as part of my comments.
Okay. And are you using so for us, at All Things Real Estate, we use the same hashtags and we do the same thing. We copy and paste it into the first comment, but we use the same hashtags every time just because we post so much. It'd be so much work to change them out. But I have heard sometimes you get in trouble if you're using the same hashtags because Instagram will know and think that we're a robot or whatever. So that hasn't happened to us yet, but I also don't know if it affects how many people can actually see us or see our hashtags.
Yeah.
But we use hashtags like, All Things Real Estate, want to buy a house, open houses. But then for us, our audience is obviously realtors. So we'll do hashtag Keller Williams, hashtag Windermere, hashtag Next Home, hashtag some of the bigger Remax, the bigger companies. So we do that. But what I tell people all the time is to do moving to Portland.
Right.
Or Portland homes or Portland house, something that is hyper local to you. That's something to think about too. And also changing it up to maybe country living if it's, out in the country or bungalow, bungalow. I don't know.
Yeah, I would do something like that because it's amazing. I think Portland real estate, I can't remember how many people actually use it.
Right.
But there was one in particular. I was like, wow, that's pretty popular because it was used a lot.
Yeah. Well, and also too, there's probably the same people there's a lot of people that are probably doing the same thing as you. Right. And so they're using that quite a bit.
Yep.
Okay. So moving on from hashtags. So on your Instagram, are you just sharing it directly to your Facebook? Is it your personal or your business page?
Instagram is my business page. I'm not sharing it to my Facebook page. And I was told I probably should do that to share it to my Facebook business page because I also don't post as much on my Facebook business page as I should be.
On your business page or your personal?
No, on either one, really.
Okay. Because that's a huge struggle that a lot of realtors have. And it's a question we get quite often is, I don't know what's happening. I feel like business pages are dying in a way. I think that business pages were set up And Matt can speak to this, my Facebook ads guy who's watching us on Facebook Live right now, but not on the podcast, obviously. But it's something to ask is, do you have to have your business page for Facebook ads and things like that? And I think, I don't know, I just feel like business pages, we hear it all the time that it doesn't get a lot of traction and you don't get a lot of comments and responses. And it's a lot of work to try to get people to engage in your business page.
Yeah, I hear that, but at the same time, I also hear the same thing. You need to have a Facebook business page. You need to have a Facebook business page. Like, well, what is it?
It's
Do I
almost
need
like
to have it? Do I not need to have it? And then there's also agents, also kind of like myself, where you want to be able to not only share your information with your immediate friends and family.
Yeah.
I think Facebook has also changed it so that not always you can have however many friends, but not always are they able to see what you're posting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where I think that you just have to kind of see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too that my opinion and my advice is to at least be posting some stuff on your personal page, because that's where people want to see your everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they don't want to see sold, but they maybe want to hear the story about how somebody who didn't have a down payment and saved up and, you know, hey, did you know you didn't have to have as much as you thought you might have had, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. People want to hear things that might relate to them. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's really important to post to your personal page. And I don't hear it as much as I used to, but people are like, well, I don't want to inundate my personal page with my business stuff, but it's your life. Like, it's your day to day. What's Facebook for?
Well, and if you're an agent, you're running your, you know, it's your business.
Yeah.
And so if you're running it like if it was your business, then that's your everyday thing.
Exactly. Okay. So let's get off Instagram and Facebook for a minute. We'll move on because we could probably talk about that for hours. We kind of wanted to talk about is what's not working. Is there anything that you've done in your marketing that you tried and just didn't work for you that you can think of?
No, it's not anything that I have tried. I think that one of the things that you told me is that I need to find what I'm comfortable with. And I think when I was first started as an agent, many of the things were, oh, well, you need to door knock and you need to door knock and you need to door knock. And what area are you farming to? And all you hear is door knocking and farming.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work for everybody.
No.
I know for me, it does not work.
Totally.
Because it reminds me of when I was a little kid and I used to go door knocking with my mom for Avon. If you want to know the truth. It does trigger because I'm like, holy shit. Excuse me. Here we go again. So that's one of the reasons I'm just not comfortable with it, because it does remind me of when I did that as a kid.
But you know what's great about that is that you know that about yourself. Right. So when people tell you that you should be door knocking, you're like, okay, but you know that you're not going to pressure yourself to do it and you're not going to waste your time. And I think a lot of people who get into the industry, especially new agents, they get told everything that they're supposed to do and all of that. So yeah, you totally have to do what you like to do and what works for you. Simple, for the simple fact that you're not going to do it if you don't like it.
Yep.
You're just not going to do it. So it's a total time waste. And it takes up space in your head of something that you should be doing that you're not doing.
Absolutely.
So that's a great example. Is there anything that you want to do that you haven't either had the time?
I have so many ideas.
Okay, give us 3.
One of the things that I definitely wanted to do this year, and I'm going to do it, is definitely do more live or video and just have it be just kind of an open conversation. Totally. Because I think it's very easy.
Your podcast?
My own podcast.
Wine with Maabi. Wine and real estate with Maabi.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's what we're going to do. But I want to do that. And I want to do it. See, my whole thing is I'm bilingual. So I know, shocker.
Can you believe that?
What?
Amazing.
So, do a little bit more of that and do it both in English and in Spanish. And who knows, we're going to toss in a little Spanglish in there as I do it.
Hey.
I've worked with, or I've been working with some friends doing, YouTube videos for the, 203K stuff. We did that one video in English. We did another one in Spanish that's not out yet. Hint, hint, Adrian, if you're watching, you owe me a video.
Reminder to self.
Right. Reminder. So different stuff of that nature that I really do like.
Yeah.
I think I would probably feel more comfortable doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like doing open houses, which some people don't, but
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of let myself down a little bit in the last couple of months just by not doing as many and just kind of I feel a little lazy, but I'm working on that.
Good job. What do you like about open houses?
Meeting people.
Imagine that.
I know.
A realtor that likes people.
Wow. I actually do like people. There's many realtors that they should not.
I don't know any of those.
Because they don't like people. I like people.
And houses.
And houses. I really like houses.
So what do you do at your open houses? Like, is there anything that you like to do that's different from any other open house? Or do you have some ideas of things that you might want to do in the future?
Honestly, I think that what I would like to do in the future is do more like a live, of this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about this house and what makes it unique. I think a lot of the times doing open houses, we get there probably about, 15, 20 minutes ahead of time, turn on all the lights,
Yeah.
make sure that everything is great, put our signs out, but you don't do enough to actually tell people where. So what's the location? So pick like an area, a couple blocks away or whatever. And now I'm going to be there when, I don't know. For me, I think that would be pretty interesting.
So I have an idea for you.
Of course you do. For me and everybody who's listening,
Yes,
give it to us.
Exactly.
Give it to us.
We just did commercials for the first time last month, and that was our focus last month.
Yeah.
So kind of what we've been doing to target basically organizing our marketing and our social media and just trying to get it on a good track is we kind of picked a focus every month. And last month was doing a commercial. And obviously, since we're doing it, we're learning it, and we're basically trying to tell everybody what worked and what didn't and what you should do. And same with this month, we're doing podcasts. So you're on this journey with us. We're doing a podcast downloadable next, basically how to set up a podcast. And so we're taking everything that we're learning and giving it to all of you all, because successful realtors are, yes.
That's what you do.
That's we need successful realtors, so they'll buy more stuff at the store. So what I think you should do is, you need to do a commercial, but I think in your commercial, you need to have you setting up an open house and what that looks like, because you're showing people. And I tell realtors this all the time. I'm like, we have to educate people on what you do, because people think that realtors just make millions of dollars and get big fat paychecks and look at cute houses all day.
They think all we do is look at houses and just collect paychecks.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we do.
So, but it's our responsibility as realtors to tell people what we do and, not like, oh, my job's so hard, look what I do. But like, here's me setting up an open house. Here's how this whole transaction went, or we had this problem and this is what we did to solve it. Realtors' jobs are to keep their clients from knowing what is happening behind the scenes. Right. So now I can see the struggle. Like, you don't want your clients. I trip over customers and clients because being a realtor for so long, they're clients. And then now I have customers, but really they're my clients too. But
same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
One and the same.
Yeah. So I might call your clients a customer because really they kind of are. You gotta treat them like a job. No, but your job is to keep them from knowing all of the crazy things that are happening behind the scenes. But at the same time, after the transaction's closed, then you can talk about it. Obviously you don't want to give names and all that good stuff, but we should be definitely educating the public on, inspections and open houses, because what if somebody is thinking about listing their house, but I do have a quick story and I got to make it short. How much time do we have? I'm still good. Okay. So I had a client call me. No, back up. Sorry. I had a woman call me on a house that I was the listing agent on 12 or 13 years ago. And I remember the house but I don't remember the buyer because I didn't represent her. I can't remember. But anyway, so she she was selling her house to somebody who sent her a thing in the mail that said, I'll buy your house for this much money, which was about anywhere between $50,000 and $70,000 under value.
Of course.
And she was in contract with them, and they didn't want to pay for the roof that needed to be quote unquote replaced, but it was a new roof then. It was a 30-year roof. So at worst or best or whatever, they just needed to fix something or whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyway, long story short, I was like, why didn't you list it? Like, why didn't you sell it? And she said, because I didn't want to deal with open houses, and I didn't want to deal with people coming to see my house.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, is that really worth $50,000 that you didn't? But if realtors are spreading the word about how an open house goes, and maybe, kind of eliminating some of those misnomers that people have and think is so horrible.
Well, I think part of it, though, is also people tend to think that, you're hosting an open house. There's going to be a ton of people walking through there. What about my stuff? What about my personal stuff? So
Right.
Us as realtors, it's important for us to also educate our sellers and say, look, yes, there's going to be a lot of people coming walking through your home. Here's my advice. Hide all your medicine.
Right.
Lock your medicine
Take
cabinet.
it with you.
Take it with you.
Yeah.
Valuables that you may have, your jewelry, stuff, don't leave it out.
Yeah. And that you have a sign-in sheet.
Exactly.
And you
And
telling them
sometimes,
things like that.
you can have the sign-in sheet, and sometimes you don't. And also, telling people,
Yeah.
the seller is really particular. They don't want you in their stuff.
Right.
Because I've had people literally open up closet doors and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, really? What does that matter?
Right.
You want to know space. Okay, let me leave one side open.
Right.
Ooh, sorry, let me not keep this mic. But it's not necessary to open every single cupboard. Your point is just to go there and see, is this house going to work for you?
Are you really
or
not going to buy the house because the closet
Right.
is half the size you thought?
If you're buying in sometimes it is.
True. But you
just
can be more, I think if you, especially realtors, I think if you're the showing agent, educating your buyers on the etiquette, basically the etiquette of going into people's homes.
Oh, I tell my people.
Right. Especially when children are involved. We already know.
I almost yanked a kid off the couch the other day. I'm like, excuse me.
That's what moms do.
This is not your house.
Right. But I think letting your clients know ahead of time, there's so much stuff. There's so much proactive stuff that we could do as realtors that just make everything, so much easier and make your clients feel at ease. And I think we forget about that when you're in the, day to day and you're in and out of houses and you've got clients stacked up, especially on the weekends. You might do an open house in the morning and then go do showings and you haven't eaten and all, just like your day was today.
Just like today.
Exactly. So again, I think educating people the best that we can in any way that we can in the way that you like to do it. You talked about video.
Yes.
And if that's something you want to do and that you're going to do it.
Yeah. I don't see enough of it. And I think that sometimes, it's very simple to create a flyer, post it, post a flyer on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. And that's it. And, people are going to go to wherever it is, Redfin, realtor.com, Redfin, all those different sites and look and see the pictures. But a lot of times the pictures don't give it justice.
Right. We
So
all know this is.
Yeah. And so if you just, if you were doing something, a video of some sort, you can actually show the room sizes and people actually can be like, oh, it is worth for me to drive out there.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. A lot of times, especially here, it's always raining. Who wants to get out in the middle of the rain and go look at houses?
Right.
Not I.
Right. Well, you have to in Portland.
Well, yeah, but that's what happens. Though.
Right. Are you using any CRMs?
Through Windermere, I have one.
Okay. And what does it do for you?
It does a lot. I just don't use it to its full capacity.
Maabi. Okay. What is one thing with that system that you want to do that you can do like next week?
Put it in order.
That's half the battle, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that right now I feel like it's scattered and I've been there for a little bit now and I probably should really be organized with it. It's not.
So you're going to put that on your calendar to get that done.
Uh-huh.
Good job.
Thanks.
We'll be checking in with you to see if that happened.
Great.
You're all, oh, really? So I think too that, again, like the organization part of it is 9/10 of the battle. Like once you get it organized, then you can get it on a smooth sailing, get it going.
The thing with me is I can get it organized, but then I get overwhelmed with 100,000,000 other, not CRMs, but just other things. I'm very much a paper and pen person. I have notebooks galore.
Same.
And so I just told you this the other day. I have all of my agent notes, with all of my clients that I've helped, and I've used that a lot. And then I just transferred it the other day to my iPad. I'm like, yes. And I can still write. Yep. It's just on my iPad and I'm not having to use a notebook and taking up all this space.
Right.
So that's part of it for me. It's like, okay, because I am such a I have to be writing. It's hard for me to transfer that to, my platform and just put it in there. Cause for me, it's so much easier just to write it down.
Yeah.
Than to make a conscious effort to be like, oh, this is what I need to do and put it in.
Right. So what Maabi's talking about is at the store, we created agent notes, and basically because I was a realtor for so long, we have to keep it really basic because we don't just deal with Oregon agents and everybody has their own rules and regulations. So we just did the basics, just like inspection date. I don't think we said like oil. It's been a while since I looked at them, but I don't think it says like oil. Maybe it does say oil.
No.
Okay. So I think it says
inspection dates
and then lines underneath it. So if you are in an area that does cesspool inspections so we're not, pigeonholing that. And then it's just a place to keep track of everything that's going on. And I know everybody's so electronic, but there are people that still like to use pen and paper. Mm-hmm. And for me, there's just something about writing it down that helps me remember stuff. I think a lot of people are like that too. But Maabi texted me late one night a few weeks back and was like, would you please put this in electronic form? I use my iPad for everything, but I don't want to let go of my agent notes, but I want to use my iPad to keep it all organized. And I was like, yeah, we've had in the past, actually a client customer that we've had for a long time, Tasha Nelson, if you're listening. She asked us to do that a really long time ago. And I was like, well, no, because then people won't buy the agent notes. But then, and we actually did something special for her. So she's been doing it for years. And it wasn't until Maabi was like, can you please do this? That we were like, we can just make it electronic and just charge the same price for it. Because you can use it a million times over. You get the PDF and then you just have it. So it's worth it for us. And there's still pen and paper people. So they're still going to buy the notebook too.
Absolutely.
But, so that's a great example of us, it's not just because she's my friend, but also and a realtor, but
mostly because
that's what made me do it quicker for sure. But a lot of our ideas come from our customers and from realtors we want to have products that you need and can use, obviously.
Yeah.
We're not just selling, I can't cuss.
We're not just selling stuff.
I think the next episode, there's going to be some cursing involved.
Because
I'm going to have to find out. Yeah. I should have known that ahead of time. Okay. So we're going to wrap up, but I want to ask you a couple more questions, like quick ones. So we talked about social media. We talked about, if you guys, you don't see our setup over here and for you on the podcast, but we have our questions on the Mevo stand, which is our video recorder for Facebook. So I keep looking over here, but I have the camera looking at me, but I'm not supposed to be thinking about the camera. I'm only supposed to be thinking about the podcast. So the next podcast, there may or may not be video because is it distracting?
No, I honestly haven't really paid attention.
Okay, good. But you didn't have any questions for us. So we gave Maabi an intake form and I was like, give us a couple of questions that we can talk about.
I didn't because the truth of the matter is, I think because I am friends with you, I've been doing real estate now for 5 years.
Yeah.
I started out working with you.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any questions.
You knew that we would talk about it.
I knew what we were going to talk about kind of. Right. And I knew that you were going to say something. I'm going to just jump right in because that's just kind of what we do.
And I guess we kind of talked about like pain points and some stuff that you want to resolve. And I think just even by having, one of the questions is about realtor community. And I think that one of the things, just by having the conversation, like sometimes you solve your own problems because you're talking it out.
Oh, yeah. I do that all the time.
Right.
So I always when I saw that question, I was like, what is she asking by that? My realtor community is my other realtor, colleagues. Either they're in my office or not in my office. I mean, there's some where I call and go, I know this answer. However, I need to say it out loud what I'm thinking.
Right.
I just need for you to tell me, am I right?
Make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah. And so that's what I do.
Yeah. Is there any other, are you a member at Women's Council of Realtors or YPN, or is there
I am not
a Latino?
I am not. I'm not doing any.
Is there a reason for that?
No.
Well,
no, I mean,
I think there is.
The truth of the matter is there is. And in the last year, I've just been busy doing
nose to the grindstone,
doing other stuff. And yes, I definitely want to do a lot more networking. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
At one point, I really liked networking when I was. So I would really like to do that and do a little bit more connecting.
But when you go to networking events, do you do what I do and just talk to the people that you know?
Absolutely. Isn't that what you do when you go to networking events?
Hope you meet like a couple people that you haven't met.
It's like when you go out to the club and you go straight for the bar.
Right.
You don't see anybody. You just go straight for the bar.
With your friends.
You're
not trying to make friends.
No, you're not trying to.
But
do you want to dance? No, I don't want to dance. I don't know you.
Right.
It's the same thing when you go to networking
events. But that's why
events.
You're at the club is to dance. But yeah, no.
It's the same thing when you go to networking events. The thing is, as much as I love going to networking events, I'm also not the best networker either.
Right. Well, you and I go and then we just stand in the corner or whatever.
Here's Tracy. I have to go to this event.
Wait,
do you want to be my date?
Be careful. Yeah, exactly. Don't say too much because the people that I have been invited.
Well, people know though. I mean,
right.
It's public knowledge. Anytime they see you, they already know Maabi's tagging along. This is why, because Tracy doesn't like to go by herself. And so I go with her.
Right. Exactly. But I will say what I think the reason. So Portland, I think, is a lot more different than other states when it comes to memberships. So I was the Women's Council of Realtor president for, when was that? 4 years ago,
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
it was when I was coming in.
Known as 2012. Oh, that was Realtor of the Year. That was my first year volunteering. That was 2012. Nice. My Women's Council Realtor Award. But so being the president for Women's Council, I was able to go to some of the national events, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe how many people are a part of associations and memberships in other states. When they say Portland, keep Portland weird, we're different. We're weird. We're
cliquish. Let me say it for you.
Yeah, but I think everybody.
We're cliquish.
Yeah, but why don't we join memberships? Like, why aren't we?
Because we're cliquish. Because we want to stick with who we know.
Yeah.
If I know you, great. And if I don't know you, not everybody. And I know many, many women, so I'm not trying to call them out or be offensive. I think that just in general, it's not, they're not that welcoming.
Yeah.
And so when you go and you're already going.
They're doing what we do and they're sticking with their friends.
Well, no, because I talked to somebody yesterday, and I'm not going to mention any names of the day before. No, it was yesterday. She was mentioning to me about going to this event, and she got there by herself. And literally had a straight anxiety attack because it was just,
it just stressed her out.
It stressed her out. Dang. And she was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then so it was whatever, she probably could have met somebody or whatever, but because she probably walked into the room and it was pretty stuffy.
Yeah.
Or nobody was really all that welcoming.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm out.
I think we do fail with that. I think the welcoming thing is something that, if you're in a membership forum in whatever, the board needs to all be making sure that everybody says hi at the front door, because that is everything. Right when you walk in, if somebody's talking to you and telling you what's going on or the wine's over there or whatever, right. Just having that, it breaks the ice. In the same exact way.
I would say, the board, as you have boards, you have welcoming committees, you have people that are on kinds of committees. And so have a committee that's specific just for new members. If you have if you see somebody walking through the door that's new, go up to them, welcome them and say, hey, and then find somebody else within the room
I was just gonna say that
they could connect with. It's all about connecting. And that's the thing why people go. And so if you don't have anybody that you're going to connect with, or you don't know anybody,
that's a great idea.
But you know,
it'd also be really cool.
I'm really good at ideas. I'm very bad at executing them.
Watch out. You're going to get volunteered now at the next event to be the
welcoming committee. And I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Like I can definitely do that. That's not a problem.
That's also,
but I just don't go.
That's also a way to get people involved as well, because then they're maybe just like you said, maybe I should be taking my own advice as well, but maybe that's something that we do is the next time we get invited to something, maybe we ask to volunteer, and then we should just try it at least once this year. That's a good goal.
That is a good goal. I mean, I think so.
I think we'd have fun.
I mean, you always drag
me the welcoming committee. Come on. That would be amazing.
There it is.
You can book us for your next event. But what would be so cool is if you even just ask like, oh, okay, are you a realtor? And then, ask a couple of questions about that person, and then be intentional about introducing them to somebody else in the room that you know. I think that's a great advice.
Somebody they would connect with, because a lot of the times people are,
or ask, who are you looking to connect with tonight?
Right.
A lender, a title rep, or,
Yeah.
So this is our first episode, Maabi. I just want to say thank you for being my first guest.
Thank you.
We'll get a lot better, you guys.
Perks of being your friend.
Right. I don't know how this is going to sound. I really hope this thing recorded.
If not, we'll just do it again next time. Can we just have a little cocktail or something?
This is a test run.
Right.
But if you're hearing this, then we did good. We recorded, did great. And this is it. So look out for our next podcast. Thanks, you guys, for joining us.
Bye, friends.
Bye.